The Lost City is a tale of a fabled city that was rumored to have existed in a far-off land, but its location had been lost to time. The stories that were passed down through generations described it as a place of unimaginable riches and splendor, with streets paved with gold and buildings adorned with precious gems and rare artifacts. Many adventurers and explorers had set out in search of this lost city, but none had ever returned. Despite the many failed attempts, the legend of the lost city persisted, and many were still drawn to the idea of discovering it. One day, a group of explorers stumbled upon an ancient map that showed the location of the lost city. The map had been hidden away for centuries, and no one knew where it had come from. Nevertheless, the group of explorers believed it to be authentic and set out on a perilous journey to find the lost city. The journey was long and arduous, with the explorers facing many challenges and dangers along the way. They had to traverse through treacherous terrain and unforgiving wilderness, cross raging rivers, and brave harsh weather conditions. At times, it seemed as though they were lost and would never find the city, but they pressed on, driven by their curiosity and determination. As they journeyed deeper into the unknown territory, the explorers began to see signs that they were getting closer to their destination. They found ancient ruins and artifacts that suggested that they were on the right track. Finally, after months of searching, they stumbled upon the entrance to the lost city. The entrance was concealed behind dense foliage and was not visible to the naked eye. The explorers had to hack their way through the thick vegetation to reveal a grand staircase leading down into the city. As they descended, they were amazed by the beauty and grandeur of the ancient city. The streets were lined with gold, and the buildings were adorned with precious gems and rare artifacts. The explorers were in awe of the lost city, and they knew that their discovery would go down in history as one of the greatest archaeological finds of all time. They spent several days exploring the city and documenting their findings. They found vast stores of gold, silver, and other precious metals, as well as a wealth of historical and cultural artifacts. But as they were preparing to leave, the explorers realized that they were not alone in the city. They had unwittingly disturbed the local inhabitants, who had been living in the city for generations. The locals were wary of the explorers, and tensions rose as the two groups struggled to communicate with each other. The explorers tried to explain their intentions, but the locals were distrustful of outsiders and believed that the explorers were there to plunder their treasures. The situation quickly escalated into a violent confrontation, and the explorers were forced to flee the city, leaving behind much of their equipment and supplies. As they made their way back to civilization, the explorers realized that their discovery of the lost city had not been as triumphant as they had hoped. They had been forced to leave much of their findings behind, and their encounter with the locals had left a bitter taste in their mouths. Nevertheless, the legend of the lost city lived on, and many more adventurers and explorers continued to search for it, driven by the same curiosity and determination that had led the first group of explorers to its doorstep. Despite the dangers and uncertainties, they knew that the allure of discovering the lost city was too great to resist.